My boyfriend cheated on me, with my best friend. Now they regret everything. Part 1: The Breaking. My name is Lena Carter, and I always believed betrayal would feel like a stab. Sharp, sudden, deadly. But in reality, it felt slower. Like drowning. It happened on a humid Friday evening in Shenzhen. The kind where the sky stayed gray even though it wasn't raining. I remember because the clouds looked heavy. Almost as heavy as the truth I hadn't yet discovered. I had everything planned for my boyfriend, Ethan Brooks. We were celebrating our 3-year anniversary. I booked a small rooftop restaurant, picked up his favorite cheesecake, even bought him a watch I absolutely could not afford. I spent the entire week imagining his smile. But by 6 p.m., he still hadn't shown up. I called. No answer. Texted. No reply. Even his location was off. Ethan never turned off his location. By 8 p.m., my hands were shaking. I tried to convince myself he was stuck at work. Or his phone died. Or he was planning some surprise. Anything except the truth. At 8:12 p.m., I finally received a message. Not from him. From Nicole. My best friend. My almost sister. The girl who knew every detail of my relationship. Her message was a single sentence. Lena, you need to come to my apartment. No emojis. No explanations. My heart started pounding so loudly that the waiter looked at me with concern. I grabbed my bag, apologized for the untouched meal, and took the first taxi I could find. The entire ride, my mind kept circling the same dread-filled thought. Something is wrong. Something is horribly wrong. When I reached her apartment complex, all I saw was Nicole pacing outside the entrance like she was about to throw up. Her face was pale, her eyes swollen. Nicole? I called out. She froze, looked at me, and started crying. My stomach dropped. What happened? She opened her mouth, but no words came out. Instead, she stepped aside, revealing Ethan standing behind her. His hair was messy. His shirt was inside out. And his face told me everything. My chest tightened. Ethan? He whispered, barely audible. Lena, I'm so sorry. Right then, the world didn't shatter. It simply went silent. And in that silence, I knew. Ethan hadn't just missed our anniversary. He hadn't just hurt me. He had destroyed me, with the one person I trusted most. Part 2: The Confession. Tell me it's not what I think, I said, though every cell in my body already knew the answer. Nicole sobbed harder, covering her face. Ethan stepped forward, lifting his hands slightly like he wanted to touch me but was afraid I'd break. Or maybe he knew I'd break him. Lena, it was a mistake, he said. We didn't plan it. It just happened. I laughed. A small, broken, ugly laugh. People falling on ice happens. Tripping on stairs happens. This. I pointed between them. This doesn't just happen. Neither of them spoke. It was Nicole who finally whispered. It was only once. Tonight. I swear. Something inside me cracked. I looked at her, not as my best friend, but as a stranger living inside her skin. You knew today was our anniversary, I said softly. You knew everything about us. She clutched her arms. I know. I'm disgusting. I hate myself. I don't expect forgiveness. I cut her off. I didn't come here to comfort you. Her knees nearly gave out. Ethan reached out again, desperate. Lena, please. I regret it. I regret everything. I was drunk. I was stressed. You've been distant lately, Anne. Stop. I raised a hand. Do not try to make this about me. His jaw trembled. I'm not. I'm just, please. I love you. I didn't mean. Hearing him say I love you made me sick. I took a step back. And another. Both reached toward me like I was slipping away. But I wasn't slipping. I was leaving. Without a single dramatic scream. Without tears. Without collapsing. Just cold clarity. I hope the two of you think about this night for the rest of your lives, I said quietly. Because I will. Just not in the way you think. Then I walked away. And neither dared to follow. Part 3: Aftermath. For days, I didn't answer their calls. Or texts. Or the voice messages where they begged, apologized, tried to explain. Nicole even waited outside my office once, but I asked security to escort her out. My coworkers thought I was fine because I kept smiling. But inside I was drowning in betrayal. The worst part wasn't the cheating. It was the knowledge that they chose each other over me. Even if only for one night. Every memory twisted into something ugly. Every promise felt like poison. I threw away the anniversary watch. Deleted every photo with Ethan. Muted Nicole on every platform. But deleting people is harder than deleting pictures. Especially when they keep coming back. One night, after 2 weeks of silence, someone buzzed my apartment door. "Who is it?" I asked through the intercom. A familiar voice answered. "It's me, Lena, please." Ethan. I wanted to ignore him, but something inside said I needed closure. So I pressed the button. He appeared at my door looking like he hadn't slept in days. Dark circles. Unshaven. Eyes red. He wasn't the confident Ethan I once knew. He was a man drowning in guilt. "Why are you here?" I asked. He held out a small envelope. "These are all the messages I wrote but didn't send. I thought maybe writing helps me stay honest." I didn't take it. "Why can't you just leave me alone?" "Because I love you," he whispered. His voice cracked. "I made the biggest mistake of my life. I don't expect you to come back. I don't expect forgiveness. I need you to know it meant nothing. It was a moment of stupidity, not desire." My throat tightened. "You cheated with my best friend." "I know," he said, voice breaking. "And I hate myself for it. I would undo that night 1,000 times if I could." I shook my head. "You can't." Silence. His hands trembled. "Just tell me what to do to make things right." "You can't," I repeated. "Because you didn't just lose me, Ethan. You broke the part of me that trusted you." And then I closed the door. This time he didn't try to stop it. Part 4, New Beginnings, Old Ghosts. Months passed. I changed apartments, changed gyms, changed coffee places. Anything to avoid the shadows of Ethan and Nicole. Slowly, painfully, I healed. I relearned how to breathe. How to eat without feeling sick. How to look in the mirror without seeing someone who wasn't enough. Then one afternoon, while I was working in a cafe, someone tapped my shoulder. It was Nicole. She looked thinner, sadder, like guilt had been eating her alive. "Lena, please. Let me apologize properly." I should have walked away. But I didn't. Maybe I needed to hear it. Maybe she needed to say it. She sat across from me, hands shaking. "I lost you. I lost Ethan's respect. I lost myself," she whispered. "You were the best friend I ever had. And I betrayed you in the worst way. I'm not asking for friendship. I just want you to know I'm sorry. Truly sorry." Tears welled in her eyes. For once I didn't feel rage. Just distance. A calm, quiet distance. "I believe you're sorry," I said. Her breath hitched. "Does that mean we're okay?" "We're not enemies," I said gently. "But we're not friends either. Some things break permanently." She nodded slowly, accepting the verdict. Before she walked away, she turned once more. "You deserve someone who never doubts your worth. I hope you find that person one day." I didn't answer. But her words stayed. Part 5, The Regret They Carry, The Freedom I Found. A year later, Ethan sent one final message. A simple one. "I'm sorry. I hope you're happy now. You deserve the world." I didn't reply. Because I was happy. I had therapy. New friends. A new life built entirely without them. And most importantly, I finally understood this. Their betrayal was not a reflection of my worth. It was a reflection of their weakness. People break. Relationships break. But sometimes breaking is how you grow. I survived. I healed. I moved on. And they lived with the regret. Not because they lost me, but because they realized too late that I was the one thing in their lives they should have protected. I wasn't the one broken. I was the one that got away. Lena's happy ending. 1. A year after the betrayal. 1 year can feel short, like a handful of seasons passing by. Or it can feel like an entire lifetime lived twice. For me, Lena Carter, it was the latter. The year after Ethan and Nicole shattered my world was the heaviest, hardest, and yet somehow, the most transformative year of my life. Shenzhen changed with the seasons. Spring blossoms lined the streets around Nanshan. Summer humidity clung to every glass building in Futian. Autumn scattered golden leaves across parks, and winter made the city lights feel even brighter. And I changed with it. But healing wasn't linear. Some mornings I woke up feeling powerful, as if I had risen from ashes stronger than steel. Other mornings, I woke up remembering that I had once planned a future with a man who shattered me like fragile porcelain. And I wondered if trusting someone again would ever feel safe. Still slowly, gently, I rebuilt my life. I moved into a new apartment with a view of the river. Started running along the waterfront every morning. Got promoted at work. And maybe most importantly, I began to like myself again. Not the version of me who needed someone else for validation, but the version who could stand alone, unshakable, enough whole. And that was when everything changed. Because happiness has a strange habit of finding you once you finally choose yourself. 2. The start of something new. It started on a Wednesday. Wednesdays mean nothing to most people, but sometimes the most life-changing things arrive without fireworks, without announcements, without warning. I was at a quiet cafe in Chicago working late. My laptop battery was low, my coffee was cold, and my patience was thin. When I went to the counter to ask for a charger, the barista shrugged apologetically. Sorry, someone's using the only universal plug. I looked over and saw a man sitting near the window, charger plugged in, typing intensely. He had soft brown hair, a sharp jawline, glasses that made him look slightly bookish, and a focus that could carve mountains. He looked calm, like tranquility in human form. He noticed me looking and lowered his headphones. You need the charger? He asked. I nodded. If you're not in a rush. I can share, he said. Then he unplugged his device and gestured for me to come over. Just like that. No hesitation. No hesitation at all. I sat down across from him. I'm Daniel, he said, offering a hand. Lena. His handshake was warm. Steady. You look like you've been fighting your laptop for hours, he said with an amused smile. I've been fighting the world, actually. The laptop is just collateral damage. He laughed, a soft, genuine laugh. And for the first time in months, I laughed too. I didn't know it then, but that simple moment, the shared charger, the shared table, the shared laugh, would become the turning point of my life. 3. The kind of man who listens. Over the next few weeks, Daniel and I bumped into each other more often than coincidence should allow. At the cafe. At the nearby bookstore. At the riverside jogging path. He later admitted he purposely changed his jogging schedule once he realized mine, but honestly, I wasn't surprised. He wasn't loud, arrogant, or overly charming. He didn't try to push himself into my life. He didn't make big gestures. Instead, he listened. Really listened. Like the world paused for him to hear every word I said. One evening, after we finished jogging, we sat on the grass by the river, watching the city shimmer in shades of gold and blue, and I told him, carefully, cautiously, about my past. Not the whole story, just pieces. My longest relationship ended badly, I said. I wasn't expecting it, and it broke more of me than I like to admit. He didn't offer pity. He didn't offer generic advice. He didn't ask invasive questions. He simply said, whoever hurt you must have taken you for granted. But you don't owe your future to your past. Not even a little. The softness in his voice cracked something open inside me. For the first time since Ethan, a thought unfurled in my heart. Maybe healing includes letting someone in again. For a love that grew quietly. Our relationship didn't start with fireworks. It started with consistency. He texted me every morning. Nothing dramatic, just, good morning. Remember to hydrate. Or, don't forget your umbrella. It's going to rain after 3. Simple. Steady. Kind. He remembered the smallest details. My favorite pastry, the scent I preferred, how I took my coffee. He never made me feel like a burden. Never pressured me to rush into anything. Never made me question his intentions. He gave me space when I needed it. Warmth when I asked. Support without my having to explain twice. One night, while we were cooking dinner together in his apartment, I paused mid-chop and said, I'm still learning how to trust again. He took the knife from my hand gently, placed it on the cutting board, and turned to face me. You don't have to trust me fully yet, he said softly. Trust grows. I'm not going anywhere. I'll earn it. Earn it. No one had ever said that to me before. That was when I realized Daniel wasn't replacing my past. He was helping me rewrite my future. 5. When the past comes back. But happiness, no matter how pure, doesn't erase history. It doesn't silence ghosts. Sometimes it even wakes them. One afternoon, as I left my office, I heard a familiar voice calling my name. I froze. It was Ethan. Standing there like a memory I didn't want. Like a chapter one had already closed. He looked older, not in age but in sadness. His posture wasn't confident anymore. His eyes weren't bright. He looked like regret made human. Lena, he said, breathless. Can we talk? I didn't want to. Not even a little. But closure has a strange persistence. What do you want? I heard you're seeing someone, he said quietly. A bitter laugh escaped me. You're not entitled to updates about my life. I know, he whispered. But I needed to see you. I needed to apologize again. Properly. You already apologized. But not enough. Not the right way. He swallowed hard. I ruined everything. Not just our relationship. You. I ruined you, and I think about it every day. I shook my head. You didn't ruin me. You broke my heart, yes. But ruining implies I stayed broken. For the first time, I saw something in his eyes I never expected. Relief. Not because he didn't regret it, he clearly did. But because he'd spent a year believing his mistake destroyed me beyond repair. Lena, he said softly, I know I don't deserve to ask this, but are you happy now? I took a deep breath. And I told him the truth. Yes, I am. He closed his eyes as if the words were both painful and healing. I'm glad, he whispered. I'm really glad. Then he walked away. And as he did, I felt nothing. Not anger. Not sadness. Not love. Not longing. Just peace. The chapter wasn't only closed, it had faded into the past where it belonged. 6. What love should feel like. Weeks later, Daniel and I spent a weekend in Guangzhou for a quick getaway. The city was vibrant. Street vendors selling roasted chestnuts, neon signs lighting up every street, the river reflecting skyscrapers like a painting. On the second night, we walked across a quiet bridge, the glow of the lampposts painting warm halos around us. Daniel stopped and looked at me with an expression I'd never seen on him before. Soft, nervous, hopeful. Lena, he said quietly. Can I ask you something? My heart fluttered. What is it? He took my hand, threading his fingers through mine. Are you truly happy with me? The question wasn't insecure. It was sincere. Completely sincere. I am, I said. Happier than I ever thought I could be after everything. He exhaled, shoulders relaxing. Good, he whispered. Because you make me happy too. More than I can put into words. Then he leaned his forehead against mine. No rush, no pressure, he murmured. But whenever you're ready, I want to build a life with you. One that's steady, safe, beautiful. My heartbeat turned to warm sunlight inside my chest. Because love wasn't supposed to feel like fear, or uncertainty, or survival. Love was supposed to feel like this. Soft hands holding yours. A calm voice grounding you. A future that didn't terrify you. A heart that didn't punish you for being human. A love that didn't break you. A love that built you. 7. The decision. Months passed. Seasons changed. The world kept spinning. And I found myself doing something I once thought impossible. I trusted again. One evening, while standing on my apartment balcony overlooking city lights flickering like thousands of tiny wishes, I realized something profound. I had stopped looking for pain. Stopped expecting heartbreak. Stopped doubting every good moment. Healing wasn't forgetting. Healing was choosing differently. Choosing me. Choosing happiness. Choosing love that was gentle. The next weekend, Daniel and I took a ferry to a small nearby island. The air smelled like sea salt and oranges, and the narrow streets were lined with old stone houses covered in ivy. We hiked to the top of a hill overlooking the endless ocean. And there, with the breeze tangling my hair, and the world stretching wide and possible beneath my feet, I made my decision. Daniel, I said quietly. He turned toward me, a question already in his eyes. I'm ready. He didn't ask what I meant. He knew. He pulled me into his arms, holding me like I was the most precious thing he'd ever touched. And for the first time in my life, I believed it. 8. Lena's happy ending. A year after that moment I married him. Not in a grand ballroom or a lavish hotel. Not with hundreds of guests or extravagant decorations. Just a quiet ceremony in a garden glowing with fairy lights, with people who loved us standing close, with soft music playing in the background and the scent of jasmine in the air. I wore a simple white dress. Daniel wore a navy suit that made him look like sunrise meeting the sea. When the officiant asked, "Do you take this man to be your partner, your love, your home?" I didn't hesitate. Ido. And when Daniel looked into my eyes and said, "You are my happiness, Lena. My peace. My future." My heart finally, truly healed. The past didn't vanish. It simply lost its power. Because I learned something essential. Betrayal may break you, but love, real love, helps you rebuild. And sometimes, happiness isn't loud or cinematic. Sometimes it's quiet, steady, soft, growing at its own pace, arriving when your heart is finally ready to receive it. My happy ending wasn't perfect. It wasn't a fairy tale. It wasn't a miracle. It was better. It was real. And it was mine. 9. Epilogue, a final letter to my past self. If I could speak to the Lena who stood outside Nicole's apartment a year ago, the Lena whose world shattered in a single moment, I would tell her this. You will not stay broken. You will not stay lost. You will not stay afraid. One day, you will wake up and realize that the pain didn't destroy you. It shaped you, made you softer in the right ways and stronger in all the others. You will meet someone who doesn't just choose you, but cherishes you, who speaks gently, who loves steadily, who stands by you without needing to be asked. And you'll finally understand. The ending that devastated you was opening the door to the life you truly deserved. A life where love doesn't hurt. A life where trust isn't a risk. A life where happiness feels like home. A life where you are enough. And always were.